Good morning, folks, folkettes, and everything in between and beyond of my beloved Hit Nation. We went through the woes that became game one of our playoff appearance. I don't think anyone really expects us to get over Cleveland, with some exceptions. Ushida, yesterday when I posted my video, he said that yesterday was the game to steal, that it's important for us to steal one of those games, right? That's the only chance that we have. So it's either now or tomorrow. But unfortunately, we were not able to do so. It was a fairly balanced game, right? First quarter was 31-24. So they finished the first quarter leading by 6. The second quarter was pretty much tight. So we finished the half 31-30, which was the most exciting part, right? In terms of how many points we scored. But it's still, at the same time, we were still behind them, right? They had 62 at the time and we had 54. So again, 6 points behind. And then we tied the game in the third quarter, 25-35, and we're still 6 points behind. We got to the fourth quarter and they outscored us by 13. So that basically gets you to the 19. I mean, 6 to 8 points, right? 7 points. So 7 points, 8 points, 8 points in the third, not 6, 8 points in the third, and 13. That makes a difference that we lost by 21 points, right? We shot 48.8%, so almost 49%. They shot 51% from the field. 3-point percentage was identical. Unfortunately, we were shooting pretty well, and I think had we continued shooting well, the game would have been a lot closer, right? We also had a lot of 50-50 balls that went their way. We also had a lot of silly turnovers, right? So 41.9%, so about 42% for both, and from 3-point percentage. 14 turnovers for the Miami Heat, right? Maybe 13 turnovers a game is not a bad stat for you to have during regular season, but you cannot have 14 turnovers against the number 1 seed. Not all of those steals. A lot of those very silly turnovers. They only had 8. And rebounds, not so bad. They had 42. They had 37. I think assists, they also did well, but I don't know why. I can't see that one. I don't mind it. I don't think that's important. Bam Adebayo was the top scorer at 24 points, 10 of 22 out of field goals, and also 3 of 6, so 50% of the free throws. The lower percentage of free throws also damaged us, right? Tyler Hero scored only 21 points. It was minus 18, by the way. Bam was minus 13. So basically, that's the way that it was. So for Bam Adebayo, we had 24 points. We did have 1 turnover only. But Bam Adebayo, I see here 1 block. Yeah, 1 block, 2 steals, 3 assists, 9 rebounds. 5 of those defensive, 4 of those offensive. As far as Tyler Hero, had 21 points. He had 3 turnovers. Of course, no blocks. 1 steal, 2 assists, 3 rebounds. So you can see not enough. And those 3 rebounds, of course, were defensive. Then we had Davion Mitchell scoring 18 points with a minus 20, right? 4 personal fouls, 3 turnovers. Of course, no blocks. Well, not of course necessarily. 1 steal as usual. 9 assists, not bad at all. 4 rebounds, 2 of those defensive, 2 of those offensive. And then we can go right to Andrew Wiggins, who only scored 14 points, had a minus 22 overall with 4 turnovers. 1 steal, 2 assists, 6 rebounds, 5 of those defensive, of 1 of those offensive. And then we had, let's see who comes next up the list. Duncan Robinson, if I'm not mistaken. Let me just make sure that I am in the right place. Yes, Duncan Robinson with 8 points. He actually had a 0. He had a neutral plus minus, right? With 2 personal fouls, 2 turnovers, 0 assists, 0 rebounds. Am I watching this correctly? Yeah, 0 assists. Wait. 0 assists, 3 rebounds, 3 defensive rebounds. Right, and it's just because I miss a little part of what the diagram is. But yeah, I mean, Duncan Robinson finishing with a neutral 0. Oh my God, that was horrible, right? I'm so sorry, guys. Kyle Anderson, minus 7. 0, 0, 0, 0. He had 1 rebound. He had 1 rebound, 1 defensive rebound. That's it. So that's another guy. I just spoke good things about him. He's going to play. He shouldn't play it this way. Again, depending on the situation, if Pelle Larsson is available, perhaps he should start even alongside Hero. And he certainly should split those minutes with Kyle Anderson. I don't think Kyle Anderson is the most talented player. He's just been working with the Miami Heat. But other than that, it was pretty subpar. Haywood Highsmith -12 with 7 points, three personal fouls. Okay, that's not a problem. 1 turnover, 1 block, 0 steals, 1 assist, 2 assists, and 6 rebounds. 2 of those offensive, 4 of those defensive. And Alec Burks with only 6 points, only a -1, right? He had no personal fouls, had no turnovers, no blocks, no steals, but he did have 2 assists, 2 rebounds, both of those defensive. And I think I mentioned pretty much everybody that played yesterday. So we didn't have, of course, Nikola Jovic or Pelle Larsson that didn't make their debut. I don't think it's surprising when I say that we are probably destined to lose this series. It's not a bad thing. A lot of people say, why make the playoffs for just the sake of making the playoffs as opposed to picking a draft? I think that anybody that understood the scenario understood there were advantages and disadvantages for both. But the main theme is we competed and we continue to make the playoffs one way or another, right? As the primarily 7th seed and then falling to 8th, which happened twice. And one of those we made the NBA Finals against the Nuggets. And whether it be from the 10th seed, clawing our ways back up, being the first 10th seed to get to the playoffs, we make the playoffs. Making the playoffs is something that marks something that the construction of the team is essential. Absolutely. Having more picks this year could mean better construction, but doesn't necessarily lead to better construction. Is how we're going to work with either free agents, how we're going to draft our first and second round picks. That's basically what's going to and what's going to be the intention coming into the next season. Who are we going to re-sign? Are we going to re-sign a guy like Andrew Wiggins, who is pretty much consistent, but he's going to have games like yesterday? Hero's 30 points are needed, obviously. And yesterday he only scored 21. When Bam gave you 24, Hero didn't give you as many because of a lot of missed shots, including a couple of very good looks for 3 from beyond the arc. And other shots that were just, I don't understand a little bit. There's nervousness involved, but a lot less than last year against Celtics. Against Celtics, it did seem like it was a completely lost cause. I'll give you this. It's not a completely lost cause against the Cavs. I think we can get one game against them. I think that yesterday, for the most part, we hung with them. In terms of, if you see the quarters, like I said, right, we had the second and the third quarter. The second quarter, not in general, we only lost the second quarter by 1 point, and we tied the third quarter. The most significant quarter was the fourth. The first one, also being 7 behind, that opens up what basically ended up happening, because were we tied also in the first quarter, then they would have won this game, maybe not, but still by 10, 13 points. It ended up being not only a double digit, but a 21-point loss, which, by the way, thus far, that's what happened with I think it was 50-something points that Oklahoma beat the Memphis. So, we're not ahead of the curve, but we're not behind the curve. We are exactly where we need to be, which means we are pretty much what should be considered an 8th seed, right? A seed that makes the playoffs and that has an early exit. I'm going to stop making predictions because I do make predictions trying to base myself on jinxes, and I don't think that that's fair. I'm going to start making predictions based on jinxes, but I'm just going to say this, okay? If we have to win a game, it needs to be tomorrow, and then we need to get a game at home, right? So that we kind of take away their advantage, but at the same time, we would actually need to win the next 3 games to make it something that we can say, okay, we got a chance. But no, if we get a game from them away, we can make this. We certainly can. Unlike last season when we won against the Celtics, it was because of a freaky 3-point shooting night. I don't know if this is what we need to do against Cavaliers, but we need to shoot the ball better. And most of all, Ware is not doing what Ware needs to be doing since the play-ins. He's feeling the pressure. He's not defending well. He's not moving well. He's not as passionate, both offensively and defensively, and he's disconnected a little bit. So that could be a signal that, he needs to adapt. There needs to be some changes. And again, I'll play Nikola Jovic. I do think that he needs to handle the ball more. I don't think that Burks necessarily fits that role, because Burks can come off the bench and provide us with some energy as well. Having Burks and Duncan Robinson, Burks and Tyler Hero, you have two great three-point shooters on your team. So, that's my analysis. But of course, I'm not a coach. I don't know what's going to happen or not going to happen. I don't know if those guys are going to get minutes, since most of the chemistry in terms of winning was built without them. Although with them, we were still winning. It's just it got injured and then we stopped. That's pretty much it. But no predictions for tomorrow. Although I do think that it's going to be a tough one. No one injured in this game, so nothing to say about that. That's pretty much it. Stay safe, stay dry, stay as happy as possible in this complicated world of ours. Let's go Heat.